Ala.
Be, mag-start na ako mag-class. Ang ingay.
Ano? Hindi ko alam kung si paano titirahin pala ako dito. Kung sino tinatadyakan.
Be, wag ka na maingay. Start na ako.
Ayop.
Be,
Sorry.
good evening everyone.
Isa pa.
Good evening, ma'am.
Naririnig ba ako? Malinaw?
Yes.
Ano kaya itong pinapakita niya? Okay. May mga parating pa ba? Sige, so, share ko lang yung screen ko for today. Yung mga hindi ko ma-admit sa YouTube live na lang kayo manood. Teka lang. So, are you able to see my screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Sa YouTube din, malinaw?
Hindi pa po, ma'am. Hindi pa po nakikita, sir. Meron na daw po pala.
Okay, delete lang yung sa ano.
Hindi pa po, ma'am. Hindi pa po nakikita, sir. Meron.
So, good evening class. Our topic tonight is all about foreign direct investment. So, we have tackled last discussion about global trade. And now, we will discuss about FDI, which means foreign investment or foreign direct investment. So, here in foreign investment, it is divided into two components, which is portfolio investment. So, this is the purchase of stocks and bonds to obtain a return on the funds invested. And second, direct investment. This is the purchase of sufficient stock in a firm to obtain significant management control. So, here class, okay, kapag meron kayong foreign investment, is just similar with our local investment here. So, ang ating investment here in the Philippines is Philippine Stock Exchange. And if sa Japan kayo pupunta, ang tawag naman sa mga investments nila, okay, is Nikkei. And then, pag nasa ibang lugar kayo, like US, okay, New York Stock Exchange. So, meron din sila. And then, we have also the APAC Stock Exchange. And then, here, meron tayong dalawang klase ng investment. Number one is the purchase of stock. Ayan, purchase of stock. And bonds to obtain magano lang ako ng pen. Pen color is blue. So, here we have the stocks. Okay, and bonds. So, hindi lang basta stocks, bonds din to obtain a return on the fund's investment. So, please take note of the keyword return. So, when we say return, kailangan babalik yung perang binigay mo. Okay, dun sa foreign company. And then, we have also the second, which is sufficient stock in a firm to obtain significant management control. Ayan. So, kapag portfolio kasi, it does not necessarily mean na sa stocks ka lang magpo-focus, 'di ba? So, alam niyo naman kung ano ibig sabihin ng portfolio. It's a diverse, okay, investments. So, meron kang iba't ibang klase ng investment yan. So, dito, meron silang bonds. Okay? So, yung bonds, it's a type of investment which is less riskier than stocks. And dito naman sa direct investment, kumukuha tayo ng isang stocks ng firm para magkaroon ng management control. So, pag mas malaki kasi yung percentage, okay, ng isang stock, usually kapag, 51%, 'di ba? So, ibig sabihin, kapag meron kang 51% ng shareholders equity, ikaw na talaga yung may direct significant management control sa isang company. Okay? So, ano-ano pa yung example ng portfolio investment? So, here we have portfolio investor. So, ang tawag sa mga nag-i-invest sa portfolio investment is the portfolio investors. That they are not directly concerned. Okay? Ayaw nila ng control sa firm. Ibig sabihin, yung mga nag-purchase nito, they just want an immense amount of stocks and bonds from other country. Okay? So, ang example natin dito is persons residing outside the US-owned American stock and bonds other than US Treasury securities with a value of $2,861 billion in 2002. So, in 2002 pa yan including $1,171 billion in corporate stocks and a decline of $293 billion from 2001 level. So, ito, based daw sa statistics class, ito daw yung amount ng pera na ininvest ng mga tao outside US. Okay? So, tingnan nyo dyan it's almost billion. So, marami talagang nag-e-invest ng mga foreign companies doon sa specific na investment ng isang country. So, ito, example natin to sa US. Bakit sinama yung decline? Kasi ibig sabihin, nagbabago yung portfolio investment. So, sige, depende na lang sa market. Okay? Ibig sabihin, if ever okay yung market, tsaka kami mag-invest sa inyo. If ever hindi naman, ipo-pull out namin yung investment nyo. Hindi kagaya ng direct investment, kahit mawala, kahit bumaba yung market or magkaroon ng downsize dun sa amount ng shares, hindi pa rin pinupull out ng investor yung kanilang investment dahil ang gusto naman nila is management control. Okay? Ang hinahawakan nila is the management control at less priority nila yung capital appreciation ng kanilang stocks. So, by which investors participate in the management of the firm in addition to receiving a return of their money. So, ito, dalawa yung kanyang gusto din. Okay? Maliban sa return, gusto niyang mag-manage ng firm. Ayan. So, the distinction between two components has begun to blur, particularly with the growing size and the number of international mergers. Ayan. Acquisitions and alliance in recent year. So, example din ng direct investment is the international mergers. Ayan. So, recently, diba, na-acquire ni Jollibee si Coffee Bean. So, that is a part of direct investment, which is, it's an acquisition. And then, pwede ding alliances, okay? So, masasabi rin natin siyang direct investment. So, ang example naman nito is investments by a foreign investor in the stock domestic company generally are treated as direct investment when the investor's equity participation ratio is 10% or more. So, maraming klaseng investors. Hindi porket bumili ka ng stocks is part ka na ng FDI. So, sinasabing direct investment siya kapag 10% ng shares yung nabili mo dun sa isang company. Okay? So, at mas maganda pa kapag 51% para ikaw na talaga yung solely na may control dun sa management ng company. So, level and direction of FDI. Number 1, if a nation is continuing to reserve appreciable amount of foreign investments, its investment climate must be favorable. So, ang sinasabi dito ng climate class, hindi yung tag-araw or tag-ulan. Ibig sabihin ng climate dito is economy. Okay? Yung ating economy. And then, this means that political forces of the foreign environment are relatively attractive and that the opportunity to earn a profit is greater than elsewhere. And other reasons for investing exist is to be sure, however, if the above factors are absent, foreign investment is not likely to occur. So, yun na nga. Ang sinasabi lang dito is para mag-occur yung FDI, kailangan, syempre, yung economy ng isang country is progressive. And at the same time, syempre, mag-earn talaga sila ng profit. Okay? Dun sa kanilang i-investa na country. So, kadalasan yung mga FDI, relevant siya sa mga country na developing, like Philippines. So, trade leads to FDI. So, ito na, 'di ba? We have tackled last meeting about global trade. So, if the company or if the country is open to global trade, it means there's a big possibility na magkakaroon sila ng FDI. So, historically, quiet please, FDI has followed foreign trade. One reason is that FDI is typically less costly and less risky than making a direct investment into foreign markets. Okay? So, sabi dito kasi, yung foreign trade, syempre, pag sinabi nating trade, it means trade ng mga products or services, 'di ba? What if FDI na lang, direct investment? Sabi nila, it is less risky. Why? Kasi you just need to transfer a certain amount of money, 'di ba? Para makapag-invest dun sa country. And the next is, management can expand the business in small increments rather than through the considerably greater amounts of investment and market size that a foreign production facility requires. So, kapag nag-open ka rin kasi ng FDI class, so, ito din yung positive effect sa'yo. Management can expand the business in small increments. So, imbis na mag-invest ka sa mga production facility, 'di ba? Maaaring makapag-expand pa rin yung iyong small business kahit pa konti-konti lang. And then, typically, a firm would use domestic, okay, please take note of this, and foreign agents to export. And as the export increased, the firm would set up an export department and hire sales representatives to live in an overseas market. So, ito, it's relevant now in the Philippines. Alam niyo yung pagsusulputan ng mga BPO? That's part of FDI. Kasi they will just need to export, 'di ba, agents, and then they have to hire sales representative and leave to overseas market. So, usong-uso yan sa mga business processes outsourced na company and yung mga global companies. The firm might even establish its own sales company to import its own name and continuously make a subsidiary as a reason of creating economic of scale. So, yan. So, kung familiar kayo sa mga subsidiary, ito yung mga branch, okay, ng companies. So, galing sa mother company, nagtatayo sila ng isang subsidiary sa different locations. So, the question is, does trade lead FDI or does FDI lead trade? Okay, so ito daw. So, ang sabi dito, syempre, trade. After ng trade, syempre, you will generate market expansion and then, last na yung FDI. Pero, what if FDI naman? FDI will integrate the entire production regional or globally which affects the trade decision. So, pareha lang. Ways to invest. Ayan. Number 1 is to acquire going companies or build new ones. May question mark. And why enter foreign markets? Ito yung mga advantage. Number 1 is to increase profit and sales, preferential trading arrangement, faster growing market, improved communications, greater revenue, lower cost of goods sold, higher overseas profit as an investment motive, protect market profits and sales using foreign production to lower cost, and attack in competitors' home market. So, ito, pwede nyo siyang ilagay dun sa paper nyo, diba? Ito yung mga guide questions din kung bakit nyo gusto dun sa foreign market territory. Kasi, syempre, ito yung mga one of the advantages. You can increase your sales, Ayan, and then mas maraming trading arrangement yung mag-occur na transaction. Syempre, mas mag-grow yung market, mag-improve yung communication as well as your technology. Mas rarami yung kita mo. So, lower expenses at your side. Kasi, gagamitin mo na dun yung mga global trade theories natin, diba? Like, ito, higher overseas profit and investment motive. Foreign production to lower cost. So, yan. So, pwede mo siyang maging advantage. So, here we have the maquiladora investment. So, ano lang naman siya? Term lang siya. So, yung makila kasi, okay, it means a company that allows factory to be largely duty-free and tariff-free. So, Spanish siya. Ang term niya dun is tariff-free investments. So, if magkakaroon tayo ng ganito, diba mas okay? Kasi syempre, hindi na natin, wala na masyadong borderline. Okay? At, syempre, magiging open yung specific na product from other countries. So, here, magpapakita ko sa inyo ng FDI ng Philippines. Ito lang, nandito pa siya. Ayan. So, ito yung latest foreign direct investment ng Philippines sa atin. So, basahin lang natin ha. In this issue of Vista, we take a look at foreign direct investment in the Philippines and glimpse at some of the data behind the FDI numbers. So, check natin. So, these are the current Philippines FDI statistics. So, FDI by type in 2014. The net FDI in the Philippines is at 6.22 billion. Ayan. USD yan. And, take note merong tatlong klase yan. Debt, reinvestment of earnings, and equity. So, yan. So, it's a comparative statement report from 2012 to 2014. So, as you can see, nag-increase yung debt ng Philippines. Okay? So, yan. How about the reinvestment of earnings? Lumiit siya noong 2013, pero tumaas din by 2014. And we have the equity net, which is 2006. So, ano kayo nangyari ng 2013? No? Bumaba yung equity net natin no? That time. So, ang sabi dito, FDI was in the form of debt. Talagang maraming utang ang Philippines. And 13% was the reimbursement of earnings, return of capital, so not new capital. So, wala talagang new capital. Puro utang lang nangyari sa FDI natin. And then, we have a total stock of direct investment as per BSP's international investment position that classified as liability on the Philippines international account that is at 60.62 billion. How about the FDI by source? So, sino ba yung mga nag-invest sa atin? Tingnan natin yung graph. So, here, as you can see, napakadami pa rin talaga ng investment sa atin ng North America, specifically the USA. Sorry. Nawala. So, yan. And then, pumapangalawa lang yung Asia that time. Then, we have also from Europe, from Japan, ASEAN, and Australia. So, the source of FDI varies each year. Generally, USA, Japan, Australia, and Hong Kong are the top list every year with guest appearances by other countries through investment cycle. In 2014, Asia, including China, is at 23%, Europe is at 9%, and ASEAN with all of the top cross-border investment. So, it is, hodgepodge na ng mga different countries sa Asia, except China and Japan. So, meron ding South Korea, okay, na nag-invest sa atin that time. So, here in the ASEAN cross-border, the FDI, the number paints in a gloomy picture. So, pag sinabing gloomy picture, parang nakakalungkot daw. Kasi, yan. Check natin Nagni-negative yung 2013 natin. Ayan o. Dahil negative ang FDI natin. Kaya nakakalungkot. So, FDI by industries, where does the FDI go? Ano ba yung mga in-investan sa atin? Manufacturing. Yan. Siguro ito yung mga locally made na mga products sa atin. Pero ina-export naman natin sa ibang bansa. So, nakita naman natin may mga factory dito, no? Na mga ibang bansa. So, yun yung pinakamataas na amount sa industry, which is manufacturing. Then, pumapangalawa yung wholesale and retail trade. May kinalaman pa rin talaga sa production. Then, eto, so nakikita nyo, walang masyadong nag-invest sa finance and insurance from 2012 to 2013. That time. So, comparison among ASEAN, syempre, yan, nasa bottom tayo, pero hindi naman sobra. Ayan, medyo lang. So, ang pinaka-top with, top 1 sa FDI, which is Singapore, talaga namang top 1 sila, kasi napakaganda talaga ng Singapore. And, mas madaling i-manage yung mas maliit na country. So, sobrang na sa Singapore. Kumbaga, first world country na siyang tinuturing that time. And halos lahat ng mga company is may mga head office talaga sa Singapore. The next is Indonesia, Thailand, Malaysia, Vietnam, and we are top 7, which is an FDI of 5%. How about the regulatory restrictiveness? So, in the Philippines, we rank as the lowest in ASEAN and almost the world on the regulatory restrictiveness index. Ibig sabihin, hindi masyadong mahigpit. Okay, yung mga regulatory requirement natin, okay, yung mga licensure fee, okay, yung mga tariff payments. So, yan, tayo yung pinakamaluwag na bansa at pinakapasaway in terms of regulatory restrictiveness. And, ease of doing business. So, maganda ba na mag-business dito? Madali ba? So, naka-rank 95 tayo. Ibig sabihin, sobrang hirap mag-business dito sa Philippines kapag pumasok ang isang foreign country. And then, Corruption Perceptions Index, nasa 38 tayo. So, kailangan i-take note nyo din yung mga corruption perception ng isang company. Ay, naka 38. Ayan, rank 85 tayo. Yung ibig sabihin, corrupt. Ayan, may mga corruption talaga na nangyayari. So, sabi dito is, the CPI 2014 score, the degree to which corruption is perceived, score ranges between 100 is highly clean and 0 is highly corrupt, with the ranking of 174 countries. So, ito naman, medyo nasa bottom kasi tayo, 'di ba? Kasi out of 174 countries, yun 85 lang yung score natin. So nasa gitna, pero ang yan 38 kasi pag sinabing 0, it's highly corrupt daw. So ito yung score. So rank 85 tayo sa mga pinaka-corrupt na country that time. So, country credit ratings, ito naman yung pag pinapautang pa tayo, is nagbabayad tayo agad, okay? So, ang grade natin is BBB, which has we have a stable S&P naman. So, stable, kaya pinapautang pa rin naman tayo ng mga other countries dahil stable ang country credit rating natin, pero hindi naman masyadong mataas. So, there are, of course, many other measures and KPI that we can look. Example is the political stability, sentiments, and quantitative. Tariff rates, demographic, macro fundamentals, currency, risk, and market performance. Hindi ko alam kung bakit nagaganito to. And then, we also have the conclusion here that no man is an island by John Donne. Why? Kasi we need other country, especially the Philippine economy, to continue to be stable and have positive fundamentals. And we need FDI and foreign direct investment and ASEAN integration as our driver for future sustainable growth. So, market updates here. Nakikita nyo, pababa ng pababa. Okay, yung ating ratio with our foreign banks. So, since January, the BSP has approved the entry of 5 banks: Japan Sumitomo Mitsui, South Korean Shinhan Bank, Taiwan's Cathay United, the Industrial Bank of Korea, most recently the Yuanta Bank, which is the second Taiwanese bank to obtain approval. And we have also inflations. So, ngayon ang inflation natin is nasa 7% na. Pero that time is like, it's 1.1%, which is mababa na yan. So, yun. So, I think that's it for our FDI investment. So, we will return at our second session. So, it is connected with the regional investment. So, I'll see you on 7:15. We can have our 15-minute break for this session. Thank you.